Protesters are back in New York's Zucotti Park, the symbolic birthplace of the anti-Wall Street movement, where it all started almost 4 months ago. Barricades have been in place since mid-November, when the occupiers were evicted in a night raid by police. But now that the barriers are gone, the protesters are determined to stay, as RT's Anastasia Churkina reports.
The mood certainly is very, very optimistic. People seem very re-energized. They're excited to have been able to get back into Zucotti Park, the birthplace of Occupy Wall Street. It's where everything began. And it really looks like a lot of the skeptics were hoping that after the occupiers were kicked out of Zucotti Park in mid-November, that would be the end of Occupy Wall Street. But certainly that has not been the case. And the occupiers, the protesters themselves, believe this, and they see this as a new chapter, really, for the whole movement that has now become nationwide over the last several months.
You can't just barricade people out, and you can't say that this park will either be used by no one or only by people that live in this area. It should be open to everyone. And so I think that it's important insofar as people can now come here and gather. As we move into the spring and it gets warmer, I think that this will return to being a hub for the movement.
Even when the barricades were still up, we were always here representing. I mean, sometimes you'd only see a handful up in the front, but we've always been here.
One of the main rules, the new rules for the Occupy Wall Street movement here in New York City, is that they cannot have tents or sleeping bags back into Zucotti Park. And that was, of course, a large part of them being able to stay out there for months and protest and demonstrate and essentially bring attention to their movement. These days, that's something that's not allowed. They can technically sleep there, but that's certainly something they can't really do. And that really impacts the number of people there today and in the days to follow, because not many people are, able to sleep standing up. It's very important that critics this entire time were saying no way will Occupy Wall Street be able to last until December. They were really hoping that after the eviction the protesters would not come back. But people have been gathering, not necessarily in this park, but in other locations, indoors, and they continue certainly to do so, with this place kind of returning as the main headquarters for the occupiers here in New York City.